is Jona Bryndis. I'm an energy coach, energy healer, and on Wednesdays we talk about these collective energies that we're all feeling, that we can sometimes not really describe and definitely have a hard time talking about. So here we are to uncover some of these things that are going on around us that are affecting us, and hopefully our talk about it can help us dealing with them better. In the last couple of Wednesday talks, we've looked at what feeds our soul and what it actually is that we can do to nourish ourselves in these areas that can allow us to feel more balance and, perhaps also more purpose in life. Today, I want to talk about what works against it. I want to talk about the forces that work against our inner peace, that stress us, that maybe trigger fears in us, and with it, these, feelings of powerlessness, perhaps, or hopelessness, or, just general negativity toward the future, toward ourselves. These are very important topics to talk about, because for anybody out there who is energetically sensitive like you, now for those who are not energetically sensitive, it applies as well, but they will not feel this as strongly in their bodies, say, or in a way that they question themselves. They may recognize that there's a lot of stuff going on the outside and blame it on the outside. One of the things that occur to people with energetic sensitivity and spiritual interest is that they question things a little more. And if there is not enough training, if there's not enough, let's say, routines that help us to not end up with blaming ourselves, okay, then, this hard to describe, like sort of circle between or ping pong ball between us reacting to other people's energies and other people reacting to our energies can send us in these endless loops. Who of you has problems with this? Who of you has problems with knowing whether something is coming from you, whether it's yours, or whether it's coming from the outside, whatever it is that you're experiencing? Who has issues with this? I do sometimes. I mean, I do these forecasts, I do these energy talks, I do an energy calendar where I, analyze the energies of these days that we are in, to help people to know that they're not alone and to help people to discern a little more. But even if, like myself, someone who literally analyzes this, reads it out, and then communicates it to the public, for me, it's still in my own personal life that I have to look at, okay, here are some things maybe that I have been procrastinating. Here are some things that I didn't want to look at. Here are some things that really confuse me. Here are some things maybe that have to do with my emotions, where I'm not fully expressing them. And sometimes I have to juggle just like everybody else, not enough time for myself, for my own needs, for my own wants, or feeling that I'm not good enough for, say my loved ones, or that I'm not showing up in the highest expression that I could. Those are all things that all humans experience. Energetic sensitivity is not something that makes you become a better person. It's just something that allows you to feel this a little more internally. But as you are feeling this internally, you also need to learn how to navigate this a little better. Who of you ends up in a place of, not feeling good enough, feeling like, you're not, doing enough, or you're not, responding well enough, or No matter what you do, no matter how, yes, I'm surprised there's only one of you. Yes, I mean, I feel this way all the time, guys. Yes, thank you, guys. I feel like this all the time. And there is something in me that tells me, and this is due to the spiritual practices that I have, and I want to talk to you about those spiritual practices, how to counteract this. But it is due to my spiritual practices that I can work with this and that I can recognize, okay, hang on, slow down. All right, this isn't about you performing in a certain way. This is about you being the best you can be. Okay, and all the people around me that love me, they don't love me for what I do. They love me for who I am. And everything that I have accomplished or that I have done in my life, yeah, the doing part of me was ultimately, motivated by who I am, by whom I want to experience this life as. That is a self-reflection that can help me out of, needing to get better at this, needing to do more of this, needing to get faster at this, needing to let go of this. Okay, so all these inner conflictions that we have, yeah, they are the ones that we are experiencing as stress. And now comes, of course, the question, where do these things come from? Yeah, so some of it comes from us believing, that is a mindset, that we need to be better. Okay, so those of you who just raised your hand, who are in the same club as me, often not feeling good enough. What if you go into this right now? What comes up for you if you actually go into this rabbit hole and ask yourself, okay, so if I am not good enough, yeah, let's say I'm staying not good enough, what is that actually going to change? How would my life change if I was good enough? What would I get more of? Or what would I have more of if I was better? Anybody, what comes up for you?
I would have more joy and peace.
Okay, more joy and peace. What else? If you were good enough, according to your own belief system, what would you have more of? More joy, more peace. Let's go into peace, Linda. What is peace? Is that something we can gain, that we can obtain, or is that more or less the absence of something?
I think for me it's always there, but I can't tune into it.
The
So if
peace?
I
The
could
peace?
let go of all that other stuff, yeah, then I could drop into it and feel it.
Okay, so peace is fundamentally the absence of something, right? Less thinking about something, or less stress, or less, unpeace, yeah? Whatever we experience as not peaceful inside ourselves.
Yeah,
So peace
just
is
more
really,
space.
yes, it's basically the desire for having relief from whatever it is that we are experiencing as negative. Now, and happiness is a definition of something positive that we want. So, yes, and there's more here in the chat. And it says more courage, less fear. Yes. Why? Why do we want more courage? What do we gain from having more courage? Or, Carol, more confidence? What do we gain from that? What can we do if we had all these things? More joy, more happiness, more peace, more courage, more confidence. What would that change in our life? This is active consciousness work, guys. So we're questioning our own beliefs here. Why are we doing this? Because in order to change something about our current condition, habits, and so forth, we first need to investigate what the cause of it is. And obviously, with my questions, I'm leading you to understanding that it is partially your beliefs that actually create the unpeace, the unconfidence, the uncourage, the opposite of that, which leads you to believe that you're not good enough. So let's just play dumb. Let's just play dumb. Let's say you had all this that you identify as, I need more of that, or I need to let go, I need less of other things. So let's say you have this. What would be different?
I would probably go for more things in my life.
Okay.
Because that's kind of like it's stopping me from achieving, because I'm starting thinking, is it the right move to do that? Is it the right thing to do? And then I am starting questioning myself.
Okay, so you just literally showed us or confirmed what I said earlier, like how we end up questioning ourselves, instead of questioning what it is that we go by, the beliefs or the whatever, the pressure to perform in a certain way. So let's say you would do more things. You said if you had more courage, you'd do more things, such as like more things that are fun for you, or more things maybe in a business sense, more variety, or you would try more things, or more things that lead you into other directions in life or show you different things. How do you mean this? I would do more things.
In my case, I meant more business approach.
Okay.
Because that kind of stops me. I don't have a problem with my personal stuff. I kind of try to organize and balance my life, but with business, it's a lot of questioning, because I feel that I don't know enough sometimes to figure out if that's a good step or not.
Yeah, so I think we can all raise our hand here, not just in regards to business, also in regards to questions in relationships or parenting or career decisions, or living home kind of decisions. We have to constantly deal with the question whether it's good enough or whether it's good for us or not, or whether we have everything that we need in order to change something. So this is something that we do as intelligent people, is that we self-reflect and we look at our situation and we look at where we want to be, our vision, our goals, and then we try to kind of come up with ways to get there. Now, Aneta, if it was, let's say you were someone who comes in from a different society or different planet or whatever, okay, and you know nothing about how humans do it. If you were completely without any preoccupation, and you come in and you have a conversation with yourself and you ask yourself, okay, so Aneta, you would like to do more things, but you say you're lacking the courage to try them because you don't know yet if they are going to help you, if they are going to lead you to where you want to be, or if you have everything, which is basically the same thing, if you have everything or know everything in order to get there. Well, let me ask you, how can you best find out? How can you best find out if you have everything you need to accomplish your goal, or if, a certain approach, say,
I would just say to try it, and that's what I am doing, but it's still a lot of fear at the back, of whatever I am doing.
Have you ever done something in your life where you had this fear and you did it anyway? You had no clue what you were doing. You had no clue where this was going to lead you, but it somehow worked out.
Yes, I moved from one continent to another. And
that's a big one. Yes, that's a big one. Okay, and do you remember the feeling? And maybe you have the feeling still.
It was more of the curiosity. So there was a
Wonderful.
different feeling.
Yes, wonderful. So really what you're saying is, due to your self-reflection, you've already figured this out, what works for you. You figured out that your curiosity is like a power, right? That your curiosity can help you overcome your fears, or let's say your lack of knowledge or lack of strategy. The willingness to try something new was more important for you at that moment when you immigrated to the United States than all the fears and negativity that our mind can come up with, right? What am I going to do? I don't know anybody. Where am I going to do? Where am I going to live? What am I going to work? All these kind of things, right? A million things. When somebody changes the country where they live, it's a huge, courageous step. And more so than people realize, because it's also a karmic step, because we are moving away from our nuclear family. We're moving away from our support system. And that is something on the list of things that people can do, yeah, to overcome fears. That's like really high up, because many of us, even if we don't really have good relationships with our family, still draw a lot of comfort and support from being close to our nuclear family. So, Aneta, you already did one of the hardest steps for humans. Yeah. And you did it with curiosity. You overcame your fears with curiosity. And this is now, I gather, many years ago. So you must have overcome your fear somehow. Yeah, because you're still here. You have a very good vocabulary. Your English is perfect. You have your own business. You're contemplating about business strategies. Okay.
It's kind of interesting because that leap coming from one country to another was not that fearful. I cannot explain, but as you pointed out, the curiosity overtook everything, so I didn't think about it.
Anybody here ever thought about moving into a different country? Leaving everything behind? I mean, even if it is in, like, let's say within the United States, moving from one to a different state can already be, because of the distances, they're so much greater than, like, say, in Europe. Sometimes moving 50 kilometers from where you live can move you into a different country. Okay, has anybody ever thought about moving into a different country, moving into a place where there is no sort of nuclear support system?
I moved from, sorry, hi.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. So I moved from, I used to live in Africa, East Africa.
Okay.
And I moved from East Africa to London quite a while back now. It's nearly 35 years now. But when I moved to London, it was completely different.
Yes.
Completely, utterly different, especially the weather as well. It was just...
Weather, diet.
Yeah.
The way people interact with another.
Yeah. Yeah. They would always they used to call me a freshie. They would call me a freshie.
A freshie, a newbie, a noob.
I didn't know what freshie meant. I thought maybe I don't know, it's just crazy. But yeah, at that time I didn't understand the language. Yeah, it is kind of not nice, but well.
Well, I guess, from a perspective of a Londoner, so London it's a very large city, and it attracts people from all over the world. It's very transient in that way. A lot of people come to work in London, and I think people who live there are kind of used to this this transient type of people coming in. So you actually overcame those fears, and I'm sure it wasn't an easy journey, and I'm sure there were moments where you missed the comfort and Maybe there's support.
No, I didn't miss anything. Sorry.
You didn't miss anything? Okay, that's interesting because me neither.
Yeah, I just wanted to live because I used to live with my in-laws, and I came to London to live with my parents, and then moved as like I had my own place and stuff. So yeah, I've never been back. I'll tell you, I've never been back. And this year, my nephew was getting married, and they asked me to go there. No way. I said, I don't have that thing in me to say, yeah, I want to go and see it again. No.
So you turned your back and you didn't know, I mean, obviously, if your parents already lived in London, so it wasn't entirely like without support, yeah? So that's probably a little different from what Aneta experienced when she moved to the United States without any support system. But it still is, and also from an energetic perspective, a really, really, really big step, yeah, to move out of that familiarity that we had.
I understand. Yeah, it is hard. It is very hard, I would say.
It's very hard. And
because you understand the way people live and the way the system is in a way as well.
It questions everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so people who have traveled a lot or moved to different countries, who have experienced how there are different value systems, different customs, obviously also, but you know, entirely different value systems in different countries, they usually are a little more open to questioning, you know, themselves, because they already realize that, you know, what is deemed to be the right thing over here may be the completely wrong thing over here. Yeah, or what is allowed, what is socially accepted over here, yeah, is a social no-go over here. So we have been confronted with these things where the outer condition determined, you know, what was right or wrong from a social perspective. And many of us experience ourselves in that place. And I want to say that this isn't just for people who move from one country to another. It's just the extreme. Anybody who's ever made a move in their life where they went into a new situation, where they changed the comfort zone, where they were willing to do something in order to, willing to leave behind all the security and comfort to experience something new. Those are all people who have gone, you know, through a transformation, yeah, that if they can tap back into this, how they mastered this, because obviously they have mastered it, yeah, if they're still there, yeah, in order to overcome other fears, other negativity. So this was here an example for energy coaching, you know, where Aneta would ask you, what was it in you that helped you to overcome it? And you could identify immediately that it was curiosity. And so this is in you, right? Nobody gave you curiosity. You didn't have to do anything in order to deserve curiosity, right? That's something you have in you. And Debbie, same with you. You know, the desire to get out of whatever you experienced as doesn't work for you well, or doesn't, you know, limits your growth, was so strong. The motivation was so strong, yeah, that it helped you to overcome the fears or the questioning or the negative inner self-talk that is possible in those kind of situations. And now I'm telling all of you, whether you've moved to a different country or to a different job or ended a relationship or started a new family and agreed to having children, or whether you're in the process of trying a new relationship, or whether you're in the process of just, you know, trying to bring more growth and more joy and more happiness to your life and your family. Whatever comes in as negative inner self-talk, whatever comes in as this questioning, okay, I want you to look at that as an energy form. I want you to look at that as, you know, some kind of nebula, some kind of fog, okay, that is always around us, okay? Yes, there is always a million things that could happen. There's always a million things that can happen any moment of your day, any moment of your life. Yeah, so there's a certain sort of randomness to life on some levels. Then there are certain things that we can determine by the way we set ourselves up. And then there are these things that we influence through our own energy, namely how much we are motivated to break through the resistances, the restrictions, or the fears. These fears, this cloud, this nebula, okay, that fear cloud, I often call this, okay, is always there. And that fear cloud, like I've described in our last energy talk, soul for your food, a food for your soul, sorry, gets bigger if you focus on these questionings, if you focus on the negative inner self-talk, if you focus on the negativity. It gets bigger and it gets darker and it gets less permeable. And the more you can tap into the part in you that can basically just sort of slosh this out of the way, yeah, open up this cloud. You all saw the movie Frozen, yeah, with the little snowman that's in Frozen 1 that runs around with the fear cloud over his head. Okay, that is because he was constantly afraid. He was constantly afraid of something to happen to him, namely to melt. And the more we focus on that, the bigger that cloud gets. The more we focus on the power in us, the energy that can counteract that, that can basically make that go away, the easier life appears. So when it comes to piercing through sadness, for example, what do we need to focus on energetically in order to pierce through sadness? What would you, as conscious self-healers, what would you suggest? What to focus on? What's the counter energy to sadness?
It's joy, happiness.
Okay, but to be fair, it's quite difficult to focus on joy when you're sad. Right? There is a little bit of a trick to this, right? So when you're already sad, it's hard to feel joy. This is basically also what contributes to sadness. So we're unable to feel joy. So how can we, knowing that there is a part in us that really just needs to get motivated, how can we motivate ourselves to go past it, to transcend it, as we say in spiritual lingo, or to out-vibrate it? How can we motivate?
Start doing things what we like to do?
Okay, that's a very good one. Mm-hmm. Things that somehow, even if it's just a very small thing, yeah, lift our spirit, yeah, feed our soul. Small things, yeah, such as, I don't know, taking a shower and washing my hair, yeah, works for me, yeah, or going out in nature, taking my dogs out on a walk. And as I'm doing this, even though maybe when I'm sad, I don't feel like doing it, but as I'm doing this, you know, I'm watching my dogs and they're just playing with another and they're happy. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's contagious. It's contagious what I see there. Their happiness is contagious for me. And so even if it's just a little bit, but by exposing myself, by engaging with things, yeah, that remind me of what it could feel like if I was happy. Yeah, it rubs off. It rubs off on me. I'm starting to feel uplifted. And so when it comes to sadness, there's obviously a bit more complex. Yes, we have to recognize that whatever, you know, basically, and also the people and places and things that surround us that remind us of sadness, they are going to make it worse for us. They are going to make it harder for us. So we need to, on one hand, abstain from the things, yeah, that feed the sadness or the fear or the powerlessness or the lack of courage or the lack of confidence. We have to surround ourselves with things, people, and places that remind us of courage, that remind us of confidence, that remind us of, if somebody's very sad, sometimes we really just need to be reminded of the beauty in this world. We really just need to be reminded of the warmth that is in human connection. We really just need to talk to a friend. And when it comes to confidence, which is a really big deal for a lot of people, all right, then it's important that we recognize how confidence forms in us. How do we become confident in something? Annetta, since you're here and you're so gracious with your time to share into the microphone, how did you develop the confidence to not feel like a total stranger, to not feel like a, I don't know, abandoned person who doesn't know anybody? How did you over time form the confidence that you needed to, get married, start a business, all these things? How did you do it?
I don't know. It probably was somewhere inside me, and if I needed something, I didn't think too much. Maybe just thinking, I was just going for new friends, applying for the job, whatever I need to do. And the less I thought, probably, the more courage I had.
I love this. Can I write this down on a big poster? The less I thought, the more courage I had. Okay, so really what you're telling me is that the more you move toward it, even if you didn't know if it was the right thing or not, the less of this fear cloud was holding you back. So it's just one of these recursive type of things. We need to find out in us what can motivate us, because that's ultimately where people falter. What motivates us to overcome our fears? Once you know what can motivate you to overcome your fear, you can counteract your fear. But make no mistake, this fear, these dark forces, these negative energies that are out there, these fear clouds, okay, they're thick right now, and they will rub off on you if you do not make a conscious effort to break through them. Okay, this is the condition that we're in right now, the weather condition. Yeah, it's like when it's really, really foggy out there, okay, and you have to drive your car in fog. What do you do? What do you guys do? Some of you live in areas where you have fog more often than others. What do you do when you have to drive in fog and you can only see like 1 meter ahead of you? What do you do? Do you drive faster? Do you push the gas pedal harder? Anybody ever driven in fog? What do you do? In order to navigate through a foggy patch on the road.
I think it's more like a driving more carefully, paying attention to everything going around.
And yeah, Sheila, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, slow down and
Slow down. Yeah.
look at what's in front of you right now
Yes.
and just focus on that.
Because that's all you can see, right? You can only see the very thing that's in front of you. Yes, of course, you could distract yourself or you could waste your energy in thinking about what may be down the road somewhere, but that's not going to help you. The only thing that is going to help you is to actually slow down and focus what's right in front of you. And this is where Annetta's tip, the less thinking we have, the more easily it is actually for us to overcome that. Now, we do need to have an analytical mind to a degree and, at some point take a stop and, review. Yeah. So, maybe making a stop at a gas station and looking at your GPS and asking the owner of the gas station where you're at to verify that, to self-reflect on how well you're doing. You need to do that too from time to time. But when the fear cloud is so big as it is right now, all you can do is to focus on what's right ahead of you, okay, and make sure that you don't get pulled into the fog by questioning, by, telling yourself that you're unable to do this. One of my biggest nightmares that I had as a kid, actually more as a teenager when I started learning how to drive a car, was literally this situation, driving in fog. And in my nightmare, instead of slowing down, it was also the beginning of my lucid dreaming career, by the way. This is when I started to wanting to change this nightmare because it was a recurring nightmare. Instead of slowing down, I would speed up and it would get worse and worse and worse. Anybody had similar dreams? Like where I couldn't see anything, and instead of just slowing down, I would push the gas pedal and go even faster. Okay, so the message here of this energy talk is that there will always be unknown and that there will always be fears that you will have to face. It's part of our human condition. We talked about this many times in many of these energy talks. But what most of us really forget to do is, instead of thinking of all the negative things and all the what ifs that could happen to you if you fail, all right, we forget to investigate two things. One, what is the nature of my fears? What is this really about? Yeah, because once you know what the nature of your fear is, you can replace your fear thought or your fear, alignment with something that can, neutralize it or that can help you to transcend. And the second question then comes right after, what can help me to motivate me to get past it? What is it in me? What power in me? All of you guys are not newborns. All of you have overcome things in your life. Okay, what in me can help me overcome my fears? Yeah, and if there isn't an actual experience in your life that you can recall, then you can also turn into a spiritual contemplation of that. Studies show that taking 10 minutes every day, it actually shows it with 5 minutes already, but let's be generous here, 10 minutes, where you just deprive yourself of all sensory impact. You sit in darkness, you're not listening to anything, you're not looking at anything, so you want to really filter out everything, and you just want to breathe and feel into yourself. That just doing that can improve your health, your physical health, can improve your emotional health, can improve your mental health, because it allows you to control your own thoughts better, because you can hear them better, and your spiritual health. 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes every day. I put out these energy alignments every month that are 20 minutes long, because if we do this for 20 minutes and build a routine that allows us to basically reset ourselves, to become able to look at the fog, look at the fears, look at our own inner belief system, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, I'm not confident enough, oh, I'm not courageous enough, and take all these thoughts, throw them overboard, because we know that they're making the fog thicker, okay, and asking yourself, okay, what do I need to overcome this? What do I need to get past this? What is my motivation? Why am I even trying to do this? What motivates me? What am I doing this for? And that's typically when we arrive in something that we call a connection with the heart, because it connects us with who we are, and not so much with what we do. Who am I? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing these energy talks? Why am I running a school? Why am I doing like 12 hours of sessions every day? Why am I doing this? You may think it's courageous to do that, I don't think it is courageous, because for me it's no longer about the courage. For me it's about the purpose. It's about knowing why I'm doing that. And my answer, my purpose, my reason, my motivation to do that is to help others to overcome their fears. Now, I don't think that there's anything more important in these days to learn how to overcome your own fears, and of course also the outer fears that are coming in. So overcome your fear cloud. Find out what you already have in you that has helped you in the past to overcome your inner fear cloud, and question these beliefs, these mindsets in you that keep telling you that you don't have that. It's not about a having, owning, or doing. It's about the power in you. And a lot of us, if not all of us, have to either remind ourselves that we have this power to choose that, or we have to focus more on finding what that power is. So anyone out there not knowing what the next step is, or what is right in front of you and how to navigate this, take a time out. Start with a 10-minute break every day where you just deprive yourself of all outer distractions. Okay, and just sit with yourself. If you do this on a regular basis, you're going to find that power. And for all of you who have experienced things in their life where you've already overcome the fear cloud before, but you've forgotten it, for you, it's just about reclaiming that. Reclaim that power. It's in you. Yeah, it's not lost. It's not taken away. It's just that with all the distractions, you are focusing too much on the fear cloud, and that made you forget what you truly are and what your inner power is. So this is the message for you here today on this energy talk. If you would like to use my guidance to navigate through this fog that is now continually becoming thicker, guys, look at my energy calendar. There you will see, starting on March 15th for 10 days, I am doing something like that I call Energy Boost program. It's a high energy transformation coaching program where I'm sitting with you for half an hour every day, and reflect on your energy. And both you and I then analyze what it is that you need to focus on that day. It's a form of, fasting, if you will, fasting from all these negative thoughts that you feed in your head, because that's really what it is that is making our journey so hard. Fasting from fear. We want to do fear fasting here for the next 10 days, starting on March 15. Okay, so look at my website there. You can find the sign-up link. Thank you very much for coming here live. See you again soon. Those of you who are part of the Sacred Self-Healing community, you will see me on Friday live with Mastering Our Relationships. The deep dive into what it takes to overcome negativity and toxicity in our personal relationships. Bye-bye, everyone. Stay conscious.